Sri Lanka is an island off the southern coast of India and home to some 20 million people of different ethnic and religious backgrounds, Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim, who subscribe to Buddhist, Hindu, Christian and Islamic cultural traditions. Having put behind a protracted conflict, the country moves on with determination to achieve an inclusive and holistic development. Provision of social infrastructure facilities and services for all is a primary objective of the National Development Policy, and donors, including the World Bank, have pledged support for this development thrust. Sustainable access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation facilities is a critical need, if not a right, of the rural communities, including those in the plantations. The issues of accessibility to these services for all and the isolated pockets of poverty need an adequate response, although Sri Lanka is a middle-income earning country. Added to these problems has been the issue of internally displaced people or IDPs among all communities, a creation of the 26-year conflict that ended in 2009. Lack of access to safe drinking water and sanitation is apparent in the dry zone villages, where groundwater is limited and murky or polluted due to modern agriculture. Also, there are intermittent periods of drought that prolong in some years. In IDP camps, the houses, wells and toilets are all located within a limited space. The people living in such environs have had to suffer from waterborne diseases such as diarrhea, urine infections and kidney problems, and as a result, economic losses. The burden of fetching water as a rule would fall on women and adult girl children, but the drudgery of fetching water was more often than not accompanied by disputes causing social disharmony. Many children went to school rather reluctantly. A woman from a far remote village of Ampara district expressed these unrecorded difficulties.
Lack of access to safe drinking water brought a lot of suffering upon us. We sweat out the whole day in the paddy fields, but soon after returning home in the evening, we had to rush out carrying pots and cans in search of water. I truly hated it. Only the gods know how hard and precarious our lives had been without access to drinking water.
Despite the difficulties, the villagers welcomed the IDPs among themselves. However, it was hard for the host community to fathom when all attention and benefits came to be showered on the IDPs to the continued neglect of the villagers. Sri Lanka recognized the need for fresh and innovative approaches and strategies to ensure access to safe drinking water and sanitation facilities. Accordingly, the government of Sri Lanka and the World Bank cooperated in a joint initiative to involve the community to address their water and sanitation needs within a holistic framework. The project concept involved integration of safe drinking water with basic sanitation, hygiene education, environmental improvement, and social and cultural activities. The program facilitated for the planners and policymakers to support the user communities to take decisions, design, manage, and construct community water supply and sanitation schemes, and after completion of construction, to continue to provide these services. The strategy was to hire as the support organization to aware the communities, form and guide the community-based organizations or CBOs to procure, construct, operate and manage their water supply and sanitation projects. The financing plan included contributions by the community, the government and the World Bank. To implement the project, the World Bank provided for capital expenditure, expertise, technology and skills since the poor people did not have access to these. The people on their part agreed to provide labour and meet extra cash cost, as well as providing local knowledge for identifying the water sources. The government provided institutional support, supervision and facilitation. The Water User Associations, or WUAs, formed various committees, work teams and rules of eligibility to implement the project. After completing the construction work, the associations were ready to take on new responsibilities to operate and maintain the water supply system and continue to provide the services in the years ahead. During the first year, the people were made aware of health, sanitation and kidney diseases, which are common problems that people face in our area. Everyone attended the meetings. All were determined to somehow complete the water supply scheme. We did everything including community mobilization, design, identification of water source, construction of water tanks and procurement of materials, pipelines, making filter materials and many more. The association built community-owned structures such as storage tanks, pump houses, overhead tanks and distribution networks, including the installation of meters. They have connected the households to the water supply network, enabling them to receive safe, piped water for a monthly fee. They have also facilitated for the poor families to construct basic sanitation facilities or improve the existing ones through access to the revolving loan fund. Furthermore, the loan facility was extended to improve economic standing as well, taking the water entitlements. The entire scheme is managed by the empowered associations formed by the community itself. At first, we gave water supply connections to 140 houses in our village. Subsequently, we extended the coverage to 276 houses. Most of all, we constructed a new store tank that enabled us to give water supply connections to 330 more households in the adjoining village, Diyaviddagama. By now, some 640 houses enjoy the service that is available 24 hours a day. Clearly, the associations have developed the institutional capacity for service delivery. They are capable in administration, collection of tariffs, accounts, technical services, and customer service functions. The associations manage the day-to-day operations and maintenance activities to keep the system functional and provide safe drinking water to their members. A disintegrating community now has achieved one community-driven organization to serve all with responsibility and accountability to the people, almost like a true public service delivery mechanism. Community Wash Project approach was adopted to serve the IDP camps and the host communities. Here, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board designed the system and provided technical guidance to the contractors to build the structures and the distribution network. An NGO undertook community awareness, formation of associations with the host community included, and training to enable assuming the operation and maintenance responsibilities. The completed water supply schemes were subsequently handed over to the associations to operate and manage the same. The World Bank facilitated the process and met the full expenditure.
We have given water supply connections to 1,324 households, consisting of 653 from the host community, 633 from the IDP settlements and 38 other places. All three communities, Sinhala, Tamil and Muslims, are benefited from our water supply scheme. New connections are also given on demand. We have 20 million rupees worth of assets, 5 paid employees from all three communities working at our office.
The success of the WASH projects in achieving the objectives has surely impacted on various other spheres of community life. It can be seen from the improvements in the social, economic, environmental, health and education spheres of life in these communities. One of the most important impact is the public confidence and knowledge of the feasibility of community infrastructure projects even under unsettled conditions and among different communities in different regions. Both the IDPs and the host communities have benefited and improved quality of life as a result of the community WASH projects. Now people have access to facilities of quality drinking water drawn from protected water sources, ending a period of dependence on polluted or contaminated water sources. It is easy to carry out the day-to-day routine activities and home environment turned conducive for children's education. The saved time is used for productive activities like homestead gardens. The project has dramatically reduced the disproportionate burden on women and children in fetching water.
With the water supply to my doorsteps by our society, we feel better and relieved now. No longer do we have to face such difficulties. No more urinary pains. I spend 2 to 3 hours for fetching water. Now we can save that time. I use the saved time for other activities such as cultivation and home gardening. No need to get up too early in the morning. Our children also go to school happily.
Communities have refreshed and enhanced their knowledge and awareness of health and sanitation matters. People demonstrate greater concern over health and sanitation, as can be seen from the practices observed. Water supply scheme itself has created employment opportunities for both male and female members of the associations. For the rural youth too, the project has cleared a path for new income generation activities. I started this business after the water supply connection to my place. I prepare traditional herbal drinks and sell in this outlet. I could open this business only due to the safe drinking water facilities given by the community water supply scheme. Another significant impact has been the rejuvenation of the welfare orientation in the community. It is reflected in the community decisions to extend concessions to the disabled, old and destitute, and the poorest and vulnerable sections of the community. In addition, the associations have given concessionary water supplies to schools, preschools, temples, mosques, clinics, and many more. Piped water supply has brought excitement to schools. There is no need for the students to carry the water bottles to school. The investment fund of the associations is a practical way to enhance sustainability of the water supply scheme. The fund has enabled rural women to invest the saved time and the access to water to earn income from agriculture, small and medium enterprises that has contributed to poverty reduction. Members of the associations visit the office for savings deposits, loan facilities and payments. The loan facilities support livelihood improvements. Investment fund is proving to be a strong reinforcement for strengthening and sustaining. Social harmony has been further enhanced with the expansion of the water supply scheme within and outside the village community. In Norochole of the Puttalam district, sub-families of IDPs have been registered as new members and given the supply connections to their new houses. Similarly, the extensions to the original houses constructed in the adjoining new settlements have also been provided the service. IDPs and original villagers of all ethnic groups together take decisions for management of the scheme. The poor and vulnerable households are all included in the service community. Women's concerns have been addressed through participation in the whole process. Young people have also been active in construction, operation and maintenance. The IDP settlements and host communities have reduced the social distance that existed before the project. Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim communities are closer to each other than in the past. Tanganagar Association in the Trincomalee district, in a Tamil neighborhood community, enthusiastically recalls the experience in sharing technical know-how with the adjoining Sinhala community. We Tamil people and Sinhala people worked together for the construction of the water project. Sinhala people came and shared their experience with us. We also helped them in completing their work. We shared our tools, equipment and construction materials such as pipes with them. The WASH project is a platform for the communities, officers and political authorities to work together in finding solutions to common problems. The interaction with the communities has had an impact in changing the mindset of the local government officers, engineers and even politicians. I was personally involved in initiating and implementing the water projects in my area. I am proud that Vavamadagama has become the most successful scheme in our country. We were helping the associations in the past and pledged to help in future also for achieving further successes. The WASH projects have a dynamism that is capable of turning adversity to advantage. For the people of conflict-affected Tampitia village, the WASH project presented hope and an arena for community action. They braved the conflict situation to build their own water supply scheme. During the conflict, we were attacked frequently and 36 people of our village were killed in conflict. We commenced this water project during the conflict period and carried out the activities irrespective of such fatal attacks. We formed our associations, built the water tanks, pipelines, pumping house, and connected each and every household in the village with the system. Now we have achieved the results and enjoy the benefits from our dedication and sacrifices. The performance of individual associations, of course, vary. However, overall, the people have rated the association as a very useful institution providing valued services to the community. The association is now an integral part of the community life. From a small organization working in a limited physical space, it has grown up to earn a reputation as a third sector that provides services. It has formed and institutionalized links with the mainstream and thus gained entry to access the needed support from the relevant institutions of the government. The WASH project experience teaches us that under appropriate guidance, facilitation and empowerment, the rural communities and the institutions develop capability to achieve positive impacts on life beyond the progress on community-driven development approach that is feasible despite the differences in social, cultural, political and economic conditions. A development model that brought about real changes and lasting impacts on thousands of human lives in Sri Lanka.